So last weekend we were at Machina Bristronica in Bristol in the UK, where we demoed ARP to a whole bunch of people. Some had seen it before, met some customers, met some old friends. It was a really good show. Next weekend, 7 days apart, we've got Synthfest up in Sheffield. What we did at Bristronica was take 4 synthesizers, 1 poly and 3 monos, and the Nord lead and the drum machine and the mixer to pull it all together. And we completely filled the desk, and it was a bit messy. It was a bit difficult to kind of show off what we were trying to achieve. So what I thought I'd do is try and sort of do it a bit more minimal. And also, if we want to do shows outside the UK, is to be able to travel a little bit lighter. And so I'm experimenting with just taking the Nord lead, because it's kind of self-contained. It's 4 synthesizers in one box, and ARP is 4 arpeggiators in one box. It's also a MIDI controller, so we can control ARP and do a big loop and back and forth. So while I was doing that, I was setting up some patches, and I thought, you know what would be nice? Just show off maybe my process for working through some patches. If you're new to ARP, if you've never seen it before, or if you're just sort of looking for some ideas of things to try, I was just going to kind of play around and make another patch. What I've done is I've set up some sounds on the Nord. I'm not going to change the sounds. I might do some various different performances on the Nord. But really, I'm just kind of focusing on the ARP at the moment. So I've got this setup. I'll turn the local. Oh, that's not right, is it? There we go. I'll turn local on so you can hear what I'm doing. And I've got like a bassy sound on the first slot, they're called on the Nord, but the first synthesizer. And the second, what have I got? Oh, sort of like Rhodes kind of sound, I suppose. On the third slot, I've got this bouncy thing going on, a bit brassy. And then something a lot higher that's a little bit echoey on slot D or synth 5. Let me go back and turn off local on. No, wrong one. You have to shift. And I only bought this thing the other week, and I really haven't had a lot of time with it. It's an awesome synth. I do love it. But yeah, I haven't really become super familiar with it yet. So now we've got local off, so we've got nothing. The other weird thing about this is you turn local off and it turns off all the controls. So it expects MIDI CC to control the thing. I suppose that's a good thing. And it also defaults to local on every time you turn it on, which is a pain in the bum if you're trying to do this kind of thing for sure. Right, so ARP-wise, what have we got? Let's shove it in a chord. On channel 1, we've got it playing the bass. If I just run through this, MIDI channel 1 is slot A, slot 1, 2, 3, 4. Makes sense. Nice and organised. And I just set up a simple bass line. On ARP 2, it's a higher octave. It was that Rhodes sound we had before. It's a bit more funky. Anyway, I think we might have some modulation on here as well. Yeah, we've got some modulation on steps. ARP 3, we've got this pad thing going on. I think this is set to, it's 1 beat every bar, or 1 step every bar, and the gate is running the length of a bar, and it just wanders. And on the 4th ARP, we've got this high-pitched thing which is kind of bouncing around at the top. I'm not even sure you can see all that blue stuff on the right side. I think it goes off the edge of my light board. That's it. Oh, while we're on the light board, I've discovered I can run the light board quite happily from USB host, but it does take quite a bit of power. So just to be safe for the show, I've got it running through one of those Kenton MIDI to USB devices, which I've had for ages, just for running that. So that's the light board. So let's make another patch. I'm going to come into play mode and no, very quick, before I do that, let's turn everything on, and I'll just show you what I've been playing around with in terms of chords. So I'm currently D minor. I've been going to G minor, which is nice, and maybe back, and then up. So that was kind of the first patch that I put together. Right, out of that now, let's copy ARP's patch and start there, because it's a nice place to go from, and then we can always flick back and forward between the patches. So let's just do copy. I'm currently on 1. Let's copy it to 2. So now you'll see I'm on patch 2. If I press play, it's the same thing. Of course, because ARP's deterministic, so if you tell it to do something, it will always do that. Let's start with the bass line and do something a bit different. So the way this was set up, we've got 6 steps, the direction's up, it's a ping pong bounce. Let's put it back down to a hop, so it's just rising. Sounds the same actually. And we got this repeat on us 4. No wonder it sounds the same. Yes, that's obviously messed up what we were doing before. Right, so the direction's up, the hop's up, that makes sense, and then yeah, we're back to an ARP. What I might do is just start with a single bouncy thing. The gate is quite low. We can make it really chippy, or we can fill it in. That's quite nice. We could slow it down and have like a, and then maybe let's pick a rhythm pattern and do something. Let's do 2 beats, and then let's clip the 6th, and let's do a punchy 2 at the end. Now if we set the rhythm length to 8, see what that sounds like speeded up. Interesting. And you're getting that, you're only getting 1 note of the 2nd step because the rhythm is holding the first 2. So steps 2, 4 and 6 are not played, or at least tied to the previous. We could try adding some groove to that, but again it's only gonna groove the last one because 2, 3 and 4. So we could edit this and do something. Interesting for later. I'll not bother with that. Yeah, do we want to vary this up any more? What do more steps sound like? Tell you what, I quite like that, but I don't want it to do it too often. So let's modulate the steps. Let's do the modulation on a kind of rising ramp over, 4 bars. Why not? I mean, we could be here for hours doing this. Yeah, but we'll leave it at that. Yeah, quite like that. I mean, we could. Mess about with the timing and the repeats. Yeah. Interesting. That's quite nice for demoing, because you can, with a couple of simple parameter changes, you can show ARP's power of being able to vary it up and do subtle changes but maintain that kind of rhythmic pattern, and always be able to come back to the original, what would you call it, theme? Yeah, bass line? Yeah. All right, quite like that. So moving on, let's pick the second one. And obviously this has got to work with the first one. But what was it? What did we have before? I remember, select ARP 2 before we start changing things. Oh yeah, that was just wandering up and down, wasn't it? Let's remove the modulation, see what it was doing to begin with. Oh, I've got an effects amount as well on velocity. I don't think that's going to do anything. So let's turn that off. So we've got 10 steps. Let's set the direction just to up so we've got something simple. Bring the octave down one so we can see it. And let's wander through the bounces. Let's increase the steps now. I quite like that, but it's going up. Let's we get like a funky bass sound down the bottom end of this thing. Let's try an up down. Obviously we don't get the steps because you're going up and down. It doesn't extend beyond halfway point of the number of steps compared to, you know, it's disappearing off up the range. So it's still just going up and down. It's because this is kind of similar to a rise. Let's put an opposite modulation on. So this is running at 16 per bar. The bounce is running up, down, up at 10 steps, which is going to give us an offbeat thing anyway. I mean, we could put more steps in. And at 16 beats a bar, it's still going to be off, so we'd have to put it at 8 steps to balance, but I think that's fine. So that's 1.5 bars. So then if we put a modulation on, what shall we pick? We could do steps again. Sorry, I've gone too far. Incidentally, that's a new feature that's going to come soon. I don't think it was in the last update. You know, you have to kind of toggle down through the menu options by just repeatedly pressing the buttons, and you go too far. It's too far. Now if you press and hold and then press up, you can go back upwards, or you can go down with the up down button. You do that with 2 hands if you're lucky enough to have 2 hands. And yeah, there we go. So let's change the bounce and see what that does. We're just going to wander up and down between the bounces. I'm going to use a sine wave, and I'm going to do it over 5 bars. And I really don't want a lot of this because there's only so many bounces, so quite a wide range. It'll take us. It'll do crazy stuff. Yeah, so this is going to modulate down as far as skip and maybe up as far as volt, something like that. So let's modulate that. See what happens. See, it sounds random, doesn't it? But there is no such thing as random, because it will repeat again. If you do the maths, how often is it doing it? 5 bars, and it's changing every 1.5 bars. So times those two together and you'll get... I can't do that. I'm going to go with 12.5 bars. Every 12.5 bars it's going to come back to itself. Yeah, what else can we do with that? We could probably just throw it up an octave once in a while. Oh, I've gone too far again. Just so that I could show off that new feature. Yeah, octave, and I'm going to do an opposite sine wave to kind of, yeah, mess with your head. And we'll do this over 3 bars. Probably not that much. So now, interesting, and with the bass line. mean, obviously you can put any sound you want with this, so it's, I'm just, you know, I'm hearing sounds, but I'm looking at the patterns really. What's on ARP 3 then? Let's have a see, you know. Oh yeah, we had that pad sound, didn't we? Let's bring this down close to the bass. Oh, that's quite nice. And let's, I mean, we could do it really slow, but there's not a huge release time on the pad, so, and it does bounce a little bit. So we've got 4 steps, directions up, and the bounce is a pogo. Let's do a custom bounce for this one. Let's pick something that's empty. So let's do every 4th one. Let's go down from there, why not? And let's repeat that first one. And obviously bounce is running at the number of steps. I've done a 16-step bounce pattern, so let's shove it all the way up to 16 steps. Didn't like that low. Oh, it must be the next one. Now let's go up again. So there's our bounce pattern. Oh, we could probably... What does that sound like? That's quite a bounce along, isn't it? Compared to that bass line. If we slowed that bass line down now. Those two, 2 and 3, with the green high thing and this pad is a bit arguing with each other, you say? Maybe. So what can we do about that? Well, let's try delaying it a little bit. Dunno, what do you think of that? Nah, that's too far off. Yeah. Sounds a bit warped, but why not? And then, yeah, what was that thing we had on the last? We want something either super tinkly over the top or something that cuts through. I can't remember what the sound was. Oh, it's way off up there, isn't it? And there must be a modulation on this, on octave, yeah, that's why it keeps disappearing off the end of the board. And what else is on? Oh, velocity. We don't need that one. Quite a nice start. Bring that in third. I wonder if we maybe mess about with the timing on this one. Yeah, so I just set the beats to the time division to triplets. Incidentally, if you're still with me, you're probably interested enough in ARP to know that the next firmware update will have polymeters. We're extending the time divisions so that you can do quite a lot more. But yeah, more on that soon. Interesting fill, that, I guess. I think that's my favourite so far. So let's skip over to that first patch now. Let's just see how different it is. Definitely more ambient texture. We could slow that right down as well, you know. Little oscillation thing going on that fourth synth. There we go. I'll probably leave it there. That's making a patch. Hopefully you found it even slightly interesting. And yeah, if you've got any comments or things that you'd like to see me do in the future, let us know. Drop us a comment, leave us a like and subscribe, just because it helps the channel. I can make more videos like this. And yeah, if you're coming along to Synthfest, which is in Sheffield on the 7th of October 2023, then yeah, stop by and say hello to us. I'll be there. And yeah, we'll be showing this thing in the flesh, or in its metal box, I should say, in the real. All right, I'll shut up talking now. Thanks for staying with us to the end. See you next time. Bye.